Florida Republican Congressman Mike Waltz sits in on the Armed Services Intelligence and Foreign Affairs Committees. He's also a former Green Beret. Great to have you in focus,
Harris.
Congressman. First of all, I mean, I don't have any doubt that the president is vacillating on this because there's no clear-cut way to fix it. For him, apparently.
Yeah. Well, yeah. My question is, where's the border czar? You know, where is Vice President Harris? I mean, we're passing legislation. Title 42 is ending. The border is completely out of control, and nothing, silence, zilch from the border czar. But Harris, look, I mean, we know the solutions. We know that barriers work. We know that we have technology to monitor our border, and we know that that Remain in Mexico has worked and would work again as a deterrent. But where are the even broader, bigger, out-of-the-box ideas? You know, Harris and Biden talk about getting at the root causes. Well, how about we take a portion of the $4 billion that they want to pour into Central America? Let's create incentives to pull manufacturing out of China into Central America. Now we're securing our supply chains in the Western Hemisphere, and we're creating growth and jobs. But the reality is, any aid worker and lots of think tanks will tell you 20 to 40% of every dollar that goes into aid money into Central America is taken by corrupt government officials and strengthen the cartels before it gets to help anybody. Let's talk about incentives. Let's talk about supply chains. Let's talk about incentivizing direct investment. And then secondarily, we have to go after the cartels. We dismantled the Cali and Medellin cartels in Colombia with military assets, not boots on the ground, but intel, drones, surveillance, and other things. We can do the same thing in Mexico right on our border. We've got to put the cartels on their back foot. And I'm thrilled that Speaker McCarthy has just announced a cartel task force to do just that.
Look, you have a bevy of ideas. And when Democrats come to the table, they don't seem to have any ideas, at least not even a federal judge would let them flow with their idea of mass release. I mean, that would be an epidemic of humanitarian crisis on the streets of America. A federal judge yesterday just said no to that. But that idea of spending some of that $4 billion going to Central America is brilliant, because you know part of what they're spending it on, Mayorkas told us in a news conference a couple of days ago, on digital advertising in Central and South America. And then one of my guests said, well, they're coming, many of them, from villages. They don't have Wi-Fi. They're not going to be able to be in places where they'd set up, you know, to get the app to work. The asylum wouldn't work, no Wi-Fi. And then your digital, how are they going to see them? They're not putting them in villages. And then what did you just say?
Oh, they don't even have water, Harris.
Well,
I mean, these are some of the most destitute, difficult, and crime-ridden, because the cartels have completely taken over whole swaths of Mexico and Central America. But at the end of the day, these people need jobs. I mean, think how desperate they are, and how desperate you would have to be to hand your child to a smuggler just to get out of the situation.
Or over a wall.
Yeah, or
into the Rio Grande to drown.
Right?
All the things we've seen.
But the only way that you're going to get at the root causes are going to get at manufacturing, at jobs, at foreign direct investment, and creating an environment where those things can reasonably thrive. But instead, you know, you do what the left typically does, which is just print more government money and throw it at the problem, and it only makes the problem worse.
Well, let's see if this House bill that's just passed, 219 to 213, can get through the Senate and to the president's desk. I know he says he'll veto it, but it gets mighty hard if stuff has more support to it. And great job to Republicans for getting the job done to put something that makes the other side push back. And you celebrate when anybody does that, because that means you care.
We're ready to talk solutions
I see it.
any day.